extensive training on how to fully process and merchandise and sell animals, either retail, wholesale, custom.
Welcome to MeatsPad. In collaboration with the American Meat Science Association, it's a platform dedicated to share breakthrough knowledge that is accessible to the global meat industry. On each episode, you'll have the opportunity to listen and learn from meat specialists and professionals about the whole meat industry. This podcast is brought to you by the U.S. Meat Export Federation, Ultrasource, equipment and supplies for the meat and food industry, Viscofan Collagen Casings, the best alternative to animal gut casings for a better taste and sustainable sausage making, EFA, slaughter and meat processing tools.
Hello, meat folks. Welcome back to the MeatsPad podcast. It is your humble host, Phil Bass. Joining with us today is Bobby Morrison. Bobby, you're a butcher. Tell me about that.
I am.
Tell me about that. You have actually, Bobby. You have a bit of a extensive experience, and so you're currently working more in a retail shop environment, but you also
Correct.
have custom harvest and processing background. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So I started in a small retail shop in the Seattle, Washington area. And it was just a box beef, whole pigs, whole lamb. And we got to merchandise it, sell it how we felt we wanted to, depending on the neighborhood we were in, because at the time that company had multiple different locations around the Seattle area.
Mhm.
And that was my start, like 10 years ago.
Mhm.
And so I did that, and so we got to learn or got to work sausage. We just did everything hand cranked, processing the pork. Like I said, the beef was all box subprimals.
Mhm.
We didn't get any carcasses in there. And then from there, they actually went out of business.
Mhm.
So I had to find something else. So I got into wholesale
Mhm.
cutting, and being the new guy, I had to cut chickens.
Okay.
So most people don't like to do that, but you gotta start from the bottom wherever you go, and it's kind of how it's always been. And so I got really proficient at cutting chickens.
Mhm.
Did that for 2 or 3 years solid. I got to cut on the beef table and cut pork every once in a while, and all it was portion cutting. So we had to hit specs on everything. And then from there, I worked part-time on a butcher truck up north of me in Stanwood, Washington. And that's where I got my real start. I want to say where it was a big paradigm shift for me, just big shift, because working custom is a different ballgame. The reason why I met them is because they used us as a wholesaler for their retail business. And so that kind of got me in. So then on my Saturdays, I would go work the butcher truck with them in the fall when they're busiest. And so I got a crash course in custom slaughter on farm, and from there I ended up working there for a year and a half on the custom butcher truck. And then I got into I quit my wholesale job and then started working there full time in their cut room, and got to do everything from retail, custom cutting, breaking, and then we also did USDA mobile as well. So then pretty much we're just contracted by the farmers, working for them, and with this, we're part of the Northwest Meat Processors Association. So we ended up starting the apprenticeship program, and I got into that, and so I was one of the first, or I was the first apprentice to come out of the Northwest Meat Processors Association program in 2019. once it
That's
got going.
okay. So that's awesome. So so I've been taking a few notes here real quick, and I want you to touch on that because I think that's really important for our listeners out there to understand. Is the apprenticeship program? I've done a number of interviews lately on getting new folks into the workforce, into the meat processing world. And tell me a little bit about the apprenticeship program that's through the Northwest Meat Process Association, and maybe talk about some of the benefits that are out there for for employers, but then also potential employees.
So it's still a new program
Mhm.
because COVID slowed it down. But we
As
rolled
it
it
did
out.
everything.
Yes. Yeah. We rolled it out in 2019. And I was the first one to come through. It's evolved since then. We've just been improving it, but it's a 2-ish year program. It's 6,000 hours. I believe we shorten it just a little bit, and we're it's with Eastern Montana University is the college that we're going through at the moment.
Mhm.
But I think it's going to be, we're working with another Oregon school um, that I believe we're going to start partnering up with, and they're also partnered with Oregon State, I believe.
Mhm.
And it's the most, from what I know, it's extensive training on how to fully process and merchandise and sell animals,
Mhm.
either retail, wholesale, custom. I've researched not only our program, but other programs around the area, because we were getting some backlash from the union meat cutters apprenticeship program. They actually made it very hard for us to get certified in the state of Washington. And but it happened. We're certified, and their program doesn't hold a candle to ours. All they do is they do box beef, and that's fine. It's good. We all need that, but they don't know how to make sausage like we do. They don't know the science, the emulsification, the curing. They don't get to use tumblers. They don't get to use the equipment that makes the job more efficient
Mhm.
to produce and feed your communities.
So, and what you're saying is this is very similar to the European model of technical training in the meat world. Yeah, in the technical training in the meat world, but it's far more broad than a line worker, say at a large
Yes,
processing facility. Okay, so
yes, yes.
you're much more jack of all trades kind of situation. When you go into a butcher shop, you can fabricate, but you can also do further processing. And I'm assuming you can also run the retail counter at the end of the day. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
That's how the program is lined up, because
Mhm.
we want everyone to be able to hit all aspects. There's different checkpoints that you have to do within the program to advance, and through uh, throughout your time as an apprentice working in the shop, you have a journeyman, what we call a training agent, who oversees your development the whole time in education. So not only are they overseeing your development and learning through the process through their shop, but you also get to work with all the other journeymen that are also in that shop. So you're not just learning from one person, you're learning from however many people that you have in the shop.
Yeah.
And I believe we have we've had 3 people or 2 people, I think, so far come out of the program, because like I said, it's a 2-year plus program. And they're out of Idaho. We've been trying to get more. It's not easy to get people to want to sign up for this, because it's a job people don't realize how hard the work is.
Yeah. But very
and
rewarding at the same time. You just
it's
got to get them started, right?
exactly. And
Yeah.
and what I like to tell people is it turns into a lifestyle,
Yeah.
right? And you can't be more connected to your community than cutting their animals to feed not only them but nourish their community as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the way I feel about it.
So, we're going to come back to this apprenticeship program because I want folks to be able to go and find more information about it. But you mentioned that this is through the Northwest Meat Processors Association, which is how you and I had met before. Yeah, and for those who may be just listening to the audio version of this podcast, Bobby is sporting his Northwest Meat Processors Association hat and shirt. The hat has official leather goods on it, promoting even more parts of the animal and how we can best use these critters. So, Bobby, tell me a little bit about the Northwest Meat Processors Association, which is an affiliate organization of the Greater American Association of Meat Processors. And you are currently one of the new board of directors. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, I am.
What have you done? Oh,
I I did I didn't do it. It was a surprise to me.
There you go. Well, that's
And
okay. Yeah, I think they picked the right guy. So,
thank
tell
you.
us tell us about the organization.
So I've been with because I worked for Del Fox Meats in Stanwood. I was there. They've been a part of the association for I think 1982
Hmm.
or even earlier. Pat was telling me stories. That's the owner of Del Fox. He was telling me stories about when he first went, and he's been president of the association for numerous years. He's been on the board. It's a great he's a great reference tool and someone to learn from for me. But I first kind of knew about it 2009. Was that 18 when it was you guys came, everyone came to our shop or the Stanwood area.
Oh yeah, yeah, Anacortes. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's when I first got to meet you.
Okay.
And we had everyone tour the shop. It was all new to me.
Yeah.
And so what it means to me is just a community of like-minded people who are all out to feed their communities, educate, and just make sure that this trade and this craft is represented the right way.
Mhm.
And we get to pass that on and just try to move things forward progressively
Yep.
and equitably, making sure people are still making money and not losing their businesses,
Mhm.
and helping each other out. And I know within this organization, this association, that I can contact someone from Idaho, someone from Oregon, Washington. If I have any questions, there's someone that has already gone through this process or had an issue or can think tank a problem out with you,
Mhm.
and there's a solution for the problems, and
It's a
or just
very it's a
to
very
help you
open
out.
group. Yeah, it's a very open group. I mean, that's the whole idea
It's
is
amazing.
it's a network of folks who have like you said, have the experience, and this is just greater opportunity to be able to share that knowledge, like many associations are. I talk regularly on this podcast as we are the official podcast of the American Meat Science Association. So us meatheads in the academic side of things, that's our network, and we gather. My day job with the University of Idaho, we are also a member of sorts with the Northwest Meat Processors Association, and grateful to be, because we get a chance to connect more with the artisanal side of things. And each year at that meeting is the cured meats competition. Tell us a little bit about that, if you can recall.
Want to take your sausage making game to the next level? Try Viscofan collagen casings. Made from 100% natural collagen, these casings provide the perfect texture and taste for any type of sausage, whether it be fresh, cooked, or dry cured. And with a variety of sizes, types, and colors to choose from, you'll have endless options for your next sausage creation. Upgrade your sausage making with Viscofan, naturally in collagen.
Oh, yeah. We have not personally entered the competition. I want to. I just get to taste everything and then hear and then ask you questions about things. So then that way I can learn. But we see a lot of cool different variations of things. Like this year, I thought one of the most interesting thing that I saw was from Pigtail Pork. They did the pork flank. I don't know if he called it bacon, but he used a tumbler to extract the proteins and then literally glue it together.
Yep.
And that was and then it was cured. And so I thought that was really interesting. And the lanyagers, the sausages, the bacons, the hams, like there is just it's mind-blowing the stuff that people are doing and the consistency that they're doing it at. And I think I want to enter next year, but it's something that we want to enter. We don't want to do something just special just for that. It would be just entering product that we sell every day at the store.
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal. That's what I would think.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I think that's part of the draw to the competitions. And this is something that happens across the country through the American Association of Meat Processors with the regional associations, and then also at the annual large gathering this year. I believe it's going to be in Charleston, South Carolina.
I want to go, but I can't.
Yeah. Well, it's unbelievable the artisanal products that are brought out, like you said, by the craftsmen who are making all these different things. And it's it's neat to see some of the items that are rare to find in a traditional grocery store. Like you mentioned, the Lanyagers. I'm a big fan of Lanyager, and for those who don't know,
we talked about this.
Yeah, it's a German. It's kind of like a classic German beef stick that it's fermented and shelf stable.
But I actually had a piece there at the competition.
Yeah.
And then they also gave me a piece and I stuck it in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I forgot about it. And I had it later, that like 5 or 4 days later. It was so much better.
Well, and that's the whole idea of some of these truly old world artisanal products that show up, is that they hold true to the origination of cured meats and smoked products and things like that, where their shelf stability, their ability to be mobile in non-refrigerated environments, even though we do refrigerate most everything that comes to the competition for quality and safety purposes. But yeah, it's neat just how incredibly how well these products hold to the old world
that's
traditions.
how you and I in Oregon, we kind of were nerding out on bacon and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, the bacons, you have your specialty bacon, you have commodity bacons, which is a really tough class to judge, especially the commodity bacons, because there's nothing special as far as ingredients. It's how well was it made and how well was it presented. And but it is really incredible when you do get to taste some of those bacons that have just these are folks that are reaching an epitome of the craft. And it's something that folks out there in the meat science community really need to engage with, so that we can learn more, right? We can learn more. We can continue to share ideas as far as from the artisanal side of things and apply it more in the science side, and then vice versa, right? We can take some of the science and continue to enhance the craft itself.
And that's what this association is all about.
Yep, absolutely. So back to the apprentice program. Let's
Yeah.
just touch on that real quick, and then we'll
Yeah.
start wrapping this thing up. But how do we learn more about the apprentice program? How do we learn more about the Northwest Meat Processors Association and maybe the American Association of Meat Processors?
I would say you got to go to the Northwest Meat Processors Association website. It's probably it's American or northwestmeatprocessors.com. You can reach out to me about it. My email is letseat01@gmail.com.
And you have an Instagram page as
yes,
well, right?
And I have an Instagram page you can reach out to me on. That's Let's Eat 01 on Instagram. I'm very active on there. Instagram has a huge butcher community.
Yeah.
I contact lots of people on there. We have avid conversations. Right now, the big one is with the EPA stuff that's going on. We have a really big conversation that just started that's going about that, because that could be having a hard time, could make meat processing for smaller plants really hard to do.
And since you mentioned that, because this is a great example of how Northwest Meat Processors, but then also the American Association of Meat Processors, stay on top of larger topics. And let's just talk about that just a little bit, because people need to know about this and need to know that maybe policymakers aren't quite as in tune as they need to be with how they're categorizing things right now. So maybe touch on that real quick.
Yes. And so right now, the EPA is coming down on small meat processors, which is they're categorizing it as 1,000 employees or less.
Yeah.
Which
is everyone, right?
That's everybody. And so this is where just that confuses me. And then it's about the nitrogen and the phosphorus that's going into wastewater, because it's the just how it's being processed.
Well, and let's remind folks that nitrogen and phosphorus, if you're looking at the ingredients label on any fertilizer, that's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Nitrogen, phosphorus,
NPK.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So if these are things that if it's let out into the environment in large quantities, then we may have what's called eutrophication in waterways, and we may have overgreening in certain areas, which we could argue one way or the other on that one. But it's important to maintain good, clean water supplies. It's important to maintain certain environmental standards, but then we're also need to understand that we can't paint in large brushstrokes like this discussion is becoming, right? Where the ma and pa meat shop is going to have to follow is going to have to put in some type of treatment system now, or at least that's kind of the direction this is going.
That's what it sounds like to me.
That would be equivalent to a plant that has 800 employees, which is that would be an enormous facility.
Yes, and that's where I don't understand the reasoning for this. I've heard I just found out about this 4 days ago. I've heard this has kind of been in the works for the last 5 months or more. And it just makes me want to learn more about the systems.
Yeah.
And everything else, so I can be more educated on it, because I don't want to give anyone any false information or do a disservice for anybody. I want to help out and just try to educate and do the same thing, and I guess work with them, but I want to know how to do it the right way.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're going about this in the proper manner. You're taking the approach of the student, of which we should all be students all the time, and just trying to find out what are the concerns, how can we address them, how can we help our constituency, which in your case are the members of the Northwest Meat Processors Association. And so, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and that's with me being a new board member.
Mhm.
is I feel a responsibility
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
And I normally I would kind of do it on my own anyways, but now I feel I got to be held to a little bit higher standard.
Well, and that's you know, just like anything, when you're in a service environment or a service position, you tend to have the opportunity to really broaden your understanding of things and learn a lot more. And you know, there's always better ways of doing things, and maybe this is going to help us move in that direction. But that at the same time, we need to protect our smaller operators. And when I'm saying smaller operators, many of the folks who are part of the Northwest Meat Processors Association, as well as the American Association of Meat Processors. These members are family businesses, as in like direct immediate family, as in less than a dozen people working in these shops.
Yes, at 4 generations in one shop.
Right. And so, you know, it's integral to continue to improve in our stewardship of the environment. But at the same time, just how impactful will a smaller operation be? And then is there a easier way or a simpler way to address the concerns, right?
Well, again, if they come and they shut down a meat plant, it's like not only are you shutting down a business, but then you're shutting down businesses of all the farmers and ranchers that butcher shop is helping make a living.
Yep. It's it's such a noble task that the meats world provides to humanity. It's greater than just nourishment and the processing and the business. It's supporting all the folks on the front end and on the back end of that shop. And so no, you're doing a great thing, Bobby. I commend you. I know it's not going to be an easy road, but I think
it's okay. I have people like you to help me out.
I'll do the best I can. But man, I really appreciate you doing that. I appreciate this time. The conversation had kind of gone in some additional directions that I wasn't expecting, but I loved it because I love that we talked about the apprenticeship program. I love that we're talking about how these associations, these meat associations, can support our meat processors, and that's our constituency on MeatsPad. And so it's very, very important that they listen. So, Bobby, thank you so much for your time. Let's keep the conversation. Yeah, let's keep the conversation going. And you know what? We'll connect again shortly, I'm sure. And
well, yeah, in a week and a half.
In a week and a half. Bobby's going to come join us for a workshop. So
you get to hang out. We get to hang out again.
That's right. All right, Bobby. Well, we'll see you then, and take care.
Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it.